Everybody gets so focused on everything around them, the people in their life, the things going on, things that they have, and just focused on everything external to themselves. And they never take moments to really evaluate themselves internally. Because ultimately, our external is just a reflection of our internal. Everything that's going on inside of us is reflected in everything around us. The life that we live, how we perceive things, how we interact with other people and what we have, and everything going on around us. See, if we're too focused on everything outside of us, we're only seeing ourselves. But when we start looking internally, we're actually able to find ourselves and actually see how these internal behaviors, how these beliefs that we have, the thoughts that we have, influence our actions and everything around us. Now, this is why awareness is so important. If you don't have awareness of how you perceive things, of the beliefs that you have, of the thoughts going through your mind, you are constantly living a reactionary life. All you simply are doing is reacting to everything around you, and you simply just have no control. If you don't have awareness, you have no control over your life, truthfully, because you will simply see things, hear things, and perceive everything in whatever the instant way is, whatever you instantly see. Whereas when we gain awareness, we're actually able to control our energy levels, control how we perceive things, and control our emotions. And this is what so many people miss. They get angry at things around them. Somebody says something and they immediately react. Whereas somebody who's aware hears that triggering word, hears whatever that person says, and they wait, they pause, and they look internally. They're aware of how they feel and able to actually process it without immediately reacting externally. Now, that person is going to go a lot farther than the person who constantly reacts to everything around them without ever seeing a little bit of their internal, finding themselves. They're not focused solely on the external because they're aware of how their internal affects it. See, that person that's now aware that they're angry but hasn't yet expressed it is able to actually work internally to relieve that anger. Realize that that person may have not actually wanted to hurt them by saying that. That person may have just been saying whatever came to their mind. Maybe they're not internally looking at themselves, understanding how what they're saying could affect somebody. And so there's nothing to be mad about. And so that anger, instead of snapping on them, goes away. We're able to let it pass. And that's why awareness is so important. It gives us control over our life, over how we act, and then influences our external because we're now managing our internal. And so, how do we actually manage our awareness? How do we gain awareness? Because it seems so simple, yet we go through our day to day, we go through our entire life on autopilot, on default, over the things that we've done our entire life, and we need to gain some level of consciousness while we're actually doing these habits so that we can gain awareness. Well, there's three key things that you can do to begin gaining awareness. One, and probably the most often one that's prescribed, is meditation. See, when we're meditating and we're sitting there, all we're doing is watching our thoughts, nothing else. We sit calmly, we watch our breathing, and we see what thoughts pop up. And over time, as you do this, you get very good at stopping the mind from thinking and just watching. See, you are not your mind. You are not the thoughts that go through your head. You are the person aware of them. You are your consciousness. And so, when you tap into that, when you realize you are the observer, you are not the thoughts that the brain is trying to constantly give you and make you think about and make the past, the future, everything, everything external. And we take a seat internally. We then begin to gain awareness of how the thoughts that we're having are affecting us. And when you can gain more awareness of those thoughts, you start to have more awareness of how you feel internally, about the person you are, about the things you default to. And this awareness will transfer to your day to day. Now, when a lot of people start meditating, it's very tricky because they're so used to thinking all the time, they're not used to turning their mind off. Maybe they can only do it for a few seconds. Whereas the more you do it with repetition, I guarantee you will get so much better and you will gain such a high level of awareness just by practicing it. Personally, I've been meditating for close to 2 years now and it has absolutely transformed the way I'm able to see things, see how my body wants to react, see how my mind immediately goes to certain conclusions based off certain external realities. Whereas now I'm able to control that internal state. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel worried. I don't have these negative emotions, which is one of the greatest benefits of awareness is higher emotions, is operating from not worry, fear, and doubt, but we're aware that all of these emotions are just too much focus on the future or past, and we're aware that we need to focus on the now. And so gaining that level of awareness is going to help you so much with dealing with some of those emotions. Now, the second way that you can work on your awareness is reflection. When you reflect on your week, on your day, on the things that you've been doing, you can actually see where you lost awareness, where you lost consciousness, and where you could have gained it. Seeing how if you thought a little bit more, you may have actually been able to positively impact the outcome of a certain situation because you were conscious, because you were aware and you're actually thinking with, your head, instead of just going off these repetitions and these default habits of thought, beliefs, and actions that we've done our entire life. So reflect, write down the different things you've done every single day, how it made you feel, how you could have reacted better, times when you lost awareness and you started to just do things habitually, and other times where you actually gained awareness. And this reflection will make you catch it so much quicker when it happens again. And the third is to just practice every single day, whenever you can, whenever you see something trigger you, you see something that's resistant, just stop and try and feel internally. Pause and start meditating. Start watching your thoughts in that moment because that is awareness. It's being aware of the thoughts, being aware of the beliefs that happen habitually, being aware of how our body wants to react internally. Because that's how we find ourselves. That's how we truly understand ourselves, is when we're able to watch these internal processes and then understand how they affect us externally. And in doing so, we then can change our internal processes to better reflect the external life that we want to live. Just because everything around you seems to be happening without your control doesn't mean that we still cannot change our perspective to better operate in the day to day. When you get caught up in believing you have no control, that everything is out of your hands, that everything is just happening to you, you then become a victim. You then choose to have no control over your life. And in doing so, we then have nothing to do externally. We feel like there is nothing we can influence. Acting like that did not get me where I wanted to be in my life. Feeling like everything was just coming against me, feeling like the world just wanted me to distress, feeling like the world was full of suffering, did not benefit me. It did not serve me. But when I looked internally, when I started meditating, when I gained a level of awareness, I realized it wasn't the world that was bad. It wasn't the situation that was bad. It was my perception of it. I perceived that to be bad, and so I then gained those negative emotions attached to it. Whereas if I believed everything to be a blessing, if I knew everything was happening in perfect timing and that down the line I'll be able to connect the dots and be so grateful for this moment, I was able to view it positively. And that then changed my external. When I worked on my internal and gained awareness, I absolutely transformed my life and was able to choose the life that I wanted to live. And so, begin by practicing these. Reflect on this past week. What have you reacted to? How could you have reacted differently? Reflect, meditate, go over, sit, even if they're 5 minutes, 10 minutes, put on a binaural beat. There's so many online, meditation beats on YouTube, and just sit and watch your thoughts. It's going to be hard at first. You might not be great at it, but over time you will get so much better and you will be able to tap into a higher level of awareness. And finally, just practice it throughout the day. Sit right now. Just be present. Just look at the things around you. Try not to think for a moment and just be extremely present, because when we are present, we are aware of our thoughts and beliefs. And so, go ahead and practice awareness. I guarantee it will transform your life when you do. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe. I'm also going to pop up another video right here if you want to watch more from me. Also, I have a free community where you can learn more from me on how to transform your life and reach your goals. So make sure to click in the description on that link so you can join on in and get more amazing information. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.